Good morning again, everybody. Thursday, February the 11th. I'm just having a little drink of my tea out of my favorite mug here this morning. Thought I'd share that with you. Only I need to get a pen and a white pen and write I love my cats because I have two of them. Anyway, everybody. Okay, so we're back here talking about your case study assignment. I want to just go over again the email section of chapter 6, which we talked about a while ago, everybody, just as a refresher, because two of the four messages that you need to include in your assignment deal with email. So I want to make sure that you understand how to put that email together in a print format, obviously not sending it out, but you're going to include that in your assignment. And what is it going to look like, everybody? So back a couple of weeks ago, chapter 6 was talked about, and more specifically, page 189, everybody. And that's the email part of this memorandum's email and routine messages chapter that we talked about. So I want you to understand emails. What is it we need to include with emails? What's the format going to look like so that you can successfully put these two messages together, everybody? So in chapter 6, more specifically page 189, emails, everybody, just to give you a little bit of a historical background, few technologies have ever had the impact in the business world with communications like emails have had, okay? They are the go-to quick way to get a message across to receivers, okay? It's really what businesses today allow for communication to take place, right? It's that email part of it. But also want you to be aware that with that is also the risk of corporate embarrassment if these emails are not done correctly and have that level of professionalism to them that is required as any part of business communication dictates, right? It's got to be top notch, it's got to be professional. And if it's not, it can cause embarrassment to the organization, and it can also cause embarrassment to you as the sender of that. Okay, so let's make sure we understand emails. Let's make sure we understand how to put them together. At the bottom of page 189, they give you a little definition there on netiquette. Okay, the informal code of conduct governing polite, efficient, and effective use of the internet, everybody. So that's, of course, how we send emails. So we need to keep that in mind. On to page 190 and forward, everybody, they talk about general email guidelines, and they give you some points that you need to remember when you're putting these two emails together, everybody. Okay, you want to keep it brief. You want to make sure that your message is professional, and I'm just picking and choosing. Okay, don't write angry. And I know that the situation that New Horizons is facing is maybe not the best, but you do not want to write angry, okay? Because it lacks in that professionalism. So you need to sort of take the anger out of the situation and keep that level of professionalism when you're writing, okay? You want to protect yourself and your company. Yeah, things that you need to remember, okay? So follow organizational rules for emails. Just that level of professionalism is what I want you to keep in mind. So on page 193, everybody, when we talk about formatting and writing that email, focus in on this part of the chapter when you're getting your emails together. You want to make sure that you type the email address correctly, okay? Compose that action-specific subject line. Design messages for clarity and readability. Okay, keep paragraphs and sentences short. Don't go on and on and on and on and on describing the situation, because you're going to lose myself. You're going to lose that reader. Okay, so you want to make sure that your paragraphs and sentences are short. You want to make sure, everybody, that you use the appropriate greeting to soften the messages, not hey, H-E-Y, drives me crazy with that sort of salutation in emails that I do receive. Use the appropriate greetings to soften the message, okay? Hello, hi, how are you? All of those kind of things. You want to get to the point immediately, okay? Tell me what the problem is. tell me how you're going to be fixing that problem. Okay. Tell people who you are. As myself, if I was going to write it, I am the organizer for the New Horizons Conference on AI and Neural Information Processing Systems. I'm writing to let you know that we've had a slight change to our agenda, something along those lines, right? Make sure that you do a spell check, everybody. Please do not send anything to me with spelling or grammar mistakes, because you will certainly lose marks for that. Okay. Email style and tone. These are all things that you can take a look at in the chapter, but make sure that your tone is reflected in the message. Okay, you want to relate to that personal, that business tone. Okay, don't come across angry. Just state that this is the problem. This is what we're doing to fix the problem. Okay. I have asked you in one of the emails that you need to come up with names and times for the individual you're announcing that agenda change. I'm giving you some creative freedom here. I'm not telling you that this is the name you have to use and this is the time that you have to use, but let's think, we're at a conference, anything between 9 and 4. Okay, so pick a time, 9 o'clock. So an individual was supposed to speak at 9 o'clock. He's of African, or she, could be either or, are of African descent. So you need to pick some names that are reflective of that heritage. Okay, go on the internet, pick some names. Okay, it's easy to do. Put it in Google, right? Hey, Google, bring up some African people of African descent that are maybe working in AI. Okay, that's easy enough to do, everybody. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Okay, so when you get that email together, everybody, you've got your information together, you need to follow a specific format of how that email looks. And if you look on page 197, everybody, they give you a great example of an effective, informative email. Okay, so that from to the subject line. Okay, so what is your subject line going to have on it? It's going to have something like changes to conference agenda. Okay, timing changes to conference agenda. Okay, something in that subject line that's going to tell the reader exactly what your message is about. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay. And what is that email going to look like? Great example on page 197, okay, of how you can lay your email out in that Word document to send to me. Okay, so things to keep in mind, everybody, when we are talking about these emails. 2 out of 4 of your email, 2 out of 4 of your messages that are required for this case study assignment are emails. Okay, so you need to understand what the format is going to look like. And if you are wanting to do well on this assignment, which I'm hoping you all are, right? It's worth, I believe, at least 10% of your final mark. You need to make sure that your format is as in the textbook. Okay, you need to make sure that you do a spell grammar check, proofread your document before you send it in, and get to your point immediately. Okay, when we're talking about delivering this unfavorable news. Keep in mind, everybody, this has nothing to do with you personally, right? This wasn't you denying these visas. It was the government of Canada. They made their decision. You cannot have them change their decision. So now you need to incorporate this teleconferencing into what the agenda package is going to look like. Okay, so a little bit of a review for you on chapters chapters 8 and chapter 6 as it relates to this case study assignment. And I will open up the video earlier rather than later. And yes, it will be public, so you can go ahead and take a look at it. So we now have got next week off. Okay, so when we come back after the break, we are going to be working a lot towards the remaining assignments that are due for this class. And we're going to be using a program that will help us in a mock interview for each one of you. It's a computer program that we have access to at the college that's going to walk you through how to conduct yourself and what kind of questions you can expect in a job interview scenario. It's the next best thing to real life that we can do during COVID, everybody. So that will be coming up when we come back. We're also going to be talking about the persuasive assignment and putting yourself in the role of a fund developer or a fundraiser for a specific organization and how you can secure funds for those nonprofit organizations, especially during COVID times, which can be a bit of a challenge. So we're going to be working on that when we come back. And that's sort of what the rest of the semester is going to look like for us here. So wanted to help you out as much as I can with this assignment. And if you have any questions next week, if you are so inclined to sort of start working ahead, I will be posting assignments into Blackboard. And if you have any questions, you can certainly get a hold of me next week, as I will not be going anywhere. I'm going to be around town. So I hope you all enjoy your reading week break and get some much needed rest and sunshine. I notice the sun is shining here today. It's just a little cold. So I'm hoping it warms up next week. So thank you for tuning in, everybody. Please make sure chapter 6, that email component, and chapters 8, delivering unfavorable news with the goals of negative messages or bad news messages, and how do we come across. Make sure you focus on tone, and I will see you all back here on Tuesday, the 23rd. I'm going to say, going from memory here, I believe it's the 23rd. We'll be on live and we will be carrying on in COM 252. I hope you all have a great day and enjoy your week off. Thank you.